Hit us up on Twitter, folks. We want to hear from you guys.
Yes.
Let's talk about the latest NFL rumors here. And maybe there's a disconnect between OBJ and the Giants' leadership.
Got the old conflicting reports out here,
Here we
Cam.
go.
I love these. So Josina Anderson says the Giants are offering Beckham less than Sammy Watkins based on a per-year average. So less than $16 million per year. Rappaport says the Giants and OBJ's agent are working on to make him the highest paid player. And Anderson kind of doubled down and said, well, per year, I'm still right. There are other metrics, though, as in guaranteed money, that would make you the highest paid player. So I'm very intrigued by the differences there. But if I'm the Giants, you got to start with a multi-year deal of 57 whatever million guaranteed and 17 million a year because you got to pay him more than Antonio Brown, right?
Sure.
Like, why would you lowball him? Even though, to be fair, we've seen Dave Gettleman do this before. Josh Norman, for example, and said, see ya, Josh.
Gettleman can get aggressive, so
yes.
keep that in mind,
So, look, if I'm the Giants, I'm paying Odell Beckham. Yeah, he's coming off the injury there, but he's one of the premier receivers in the NFL. The way contracts work is you pay the next guy up the most amount of money. So give him his money. I don't think this will turn contentious, but I do find it interesting that we've already got the conflicting reports on what the Giants are actually offering him.
Yep,
Very
the showdown is
intriguing
on.
to me.
Yes. All right, let's talk about another wide receiver. Dez Bryant, is he signing with the Cleveland Browns? They traded away Corey Coleman. Josh Gordon's not showing up to training camp. Tom, where are we at?
Well, first off, can you give me my due credit on calling the Corey Coleman trade?
Yes.
I would appreciate that because you ignored my tweet about it.
Yeah, I just don't like to give you
Even
credit
though
when
I
you're right.
tagged you on it and it was like 8:30 at night or whatever, and you were definitely awake still.
I didn't want to boost your ego. That was the thing.
Well, we're too late here.
We're too-
What do you think was going to happen today? If you had just done it at the time, I probably wouldn't have brought it up now.
That's a great point.
Instead, I'm going to toot my own horn and be a little selfish and be a little egotistical. It's fine. I am kind of surprised it went for so little. I think there are some concerns with Corey Coleman. As for Dez and the Browns, the report was that it doesn't have any direct correlation to signing Dez Bryant. I think they like Antonio Callaway quite a bit as well. If I'm the Browns, I would consider it more so now that they've brought in, or now they've traded away Corey Coleman. But if you're Dez and you already have Josh Gordon, you already have Terrell Owens, because I assume Gordon's going to be back. You have Antonio Callaway, you have David Njoku, you have Duke Johnson, who says he wants to be a slot receiver, not a halfback.
Carlos Hyde as well.
How do you actually give enough touches for Dez Bryant in the end? So that's my concern in terms of the fit with Dez and the Cleveland Browns.
All right, should the Browns sign Dez Bryant? Type away. Type 3 for yes, type 4 for no in the comments section. Let's talk about another Browns wide receiver. You mentioned him, Josh Gordon. Sounds like he's coming back soon. I think we should all kind of pump the brakes.
The Cleveland Plain Dealer says he, quote, he is getting closer to returning to the team, but he's not going to show up by Tuesday, tomorrow. The date there is intentional because if he didn't show up by Tuesday, he wouldn't receive an accrued season. We'll get back to that more with Aaron Donald later on in today's show. And he wouldn't become a restricted free agent in 2019. Now, the Browns are not going to let that happen. So what they're going to do here instead, and they're definitely if they did bring in Dez Bryant, the Browns are going to say we're going to put him on the, they've done this, they put him on the did not report list, and they're going to put him back on a reserve list so that it's not going to impact the accrued season, and they're going to do Josh Gordon a solid in the end, which I applaud them for doing. And it sounds to me like the Browns fully expect Josh Gordon to return in the very near future.
You know, that would be an interesting depth chart with Landry, Gordon, Dez.
Maybe Gordon is just trying to avoid Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Which I think is a legitimate conspiracy theory that I've heard out there.
All right, Tyrod Taylor sticking with this Browns theme here. An extension? Wow.
This doesn't make sense to me.
He's a natural-born leader, Tom, according to John Dorsey.
What are you going to say for the GM? Yeah, this quarterback is an idiot. He's not a leader at all. I hate him. I hate him as a leader. Like, of course he's going to say that. And it's weird to me to see the GM say, you know what? They're making a point in October where I say, let's strike a deal up. And if you're Tyrod Taylor, agent, you say, nah, man, we're good, and hang up the phone. Because Baker Mayfield is going to be the eventual starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Taylor is a stopgap option. Why would he take what I assume would be less money and then get benched as well? Doesn't make sense for the Browns or for Tyrod Taylor. So if we were doing this as the rumor scale, I'm giving this one fake news. It's not going to happen.
All right, BetDSI gives us the odds for the Week 1 starter at quarterback for the Browns. Taylor, -600. Baker plus 370, and Drew Stanton doesn't get a line.
Oh, why would he?
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to – I don't like putting money on the favorites, but it's going to be Tyrod Taylor unless there's an injury. So that's kind of the concern for me. But, look, I'm typing in bet. Tyrod Taylor is going to be your guy there. He's going to start week 1, and then we'll see if and when Baker Mayfield gets the call this season. Hugh Jackson wants Tyrod because he can win better now with him, and Hugh needs that for his job security.
All right, folks, you can wager on this prop bet and NFL games this week with our partner at BetDSI. We're hooking you up. 120% deposit bonus, promo code NFL120. Screenshot this offer. Tell your friends. Don't miss out. Spread the wealth. 120% deposit bonus with BetDSI at chatsports.com/bet.
The preseason is here. You can go bet on those games at chatsports.com/bet.
All right, let's talk about Aaron Donald. What is the latest here? Because this situation is getting more and more gruesome, it seems.
Well, we mentioned it a little bit ago about Aaron Donald and Josh Gordon and reporting and getting the accrued season. So Donald has to show up tomorrow to camp, or he will lose an accrued season, and instead of being an unrestricted free agent, he becomes a restricted free agent. But Donald's like, you know what? I don't care. I want a big, fat new contract. There is no difference between, in my eyes, a tag or an RFA, because I want that big new deal. I'm going to get it at some point soon, he thinks. So he's still going to hold out. So if the Rams don't get a deal done, we'll see what happens there. But things are not great right now between Donald and the Rams, at least from what I've heard.
All right, Tom.
Just pay the man.
Yeah.
Just pay the man.
It's absolutely true.
I mean, unless he's asking for $25 million, I don't know what's taking so long, which maybe he is. And if so, that's a whole other debate to have.
T.O. to the CFL. The
Handle this one, Cam. It's all you, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, recently worked out for the Rough Riders. This comes after Terrell Owens did his special speech during the Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony, where he had his own ceremony at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. So T.O. looking to come back to the CFL, perhaps. We shall see. I'm telling you, Tom, the comeback is absolutely real.
Well, this actually does make a little bit more sense to me. A, it's the CFL, and B, the Rough Riders coach and GM actually held the workout and was heaping praise upon T.O. like, I've never seen this before, Chris Jones. So
I love it.
Maybe it does end up happening there for T.O. I think he desperately wants to be the first Hall of Famer that is still active in pro football.
Well, that's his goal.
Even if it's the CFL, that's what he wants.
All right, let's talk about Martavis Bryant. Apparently, John Gruden isn't happy with him.
Well, the Raiders, I think they have some depth at receiver, and John Gruden, he praised upon them and was then like, yeah, Bryant's got to be better. So he kind of called out Martavis Bryant, which I don't think is a good sign for Martavis, Cam.
No. We'll keep an eye on that for you guys out there.
I am actually a little bit concerned about that.
All right, Jacoby Brissett not being traded for a
Fake
first-rounder?
news. This is ridiculous.
Oh, my gracious. That's
just
not enough, Tom?
Like, what do you like? Jim Irsay says we would not trade him for a first rounder. Oh, so you're going to draft a quarterback in the first round every year because that's what you're valuing him as. You're saying a backup quarterback is worth a first round pick. Are you insane? Like, your team is bad right now, and you're going to pass on a first round pick so you can keep Jacoby Brissett, who, by the way, was not actually that good last year for the Colts.
No.
Look at the numbers. Look at the win-loss.
Not many wins. All right,
this is ludicrous.
Let's stick with the trade theme here. The Vikings won't trade Anthony Barr, and Tom, there's only one report out there of a potential trade, and it's from us.
Yeah, so Mike Zimmer came out this week and said, yeah, I saw a report that he was going to be traded, or the Vikings could trade him, and that's not accurate at all. And there were no reports, but back in June, we had said it made a little bit of sense in a nice little fun piece on NFC guys who could be traded.
Right.
So
we weren't reporting any inside
I am
source.
taking credit for this. So Mike Zimmer, I know you watch Chat Sports. We understand that you're not going to trade Anthony Barr. Note taken.
Okay. Big story came through this morning. Sam Darnold starting week 1, perhaps.
I don't know about this. I think it's weird that the Jets are hyping up all of their quarterbacks. Because that's what this is.
It is kind of weird.
They're hyping up Sam Darnold. They've hyped up Teddy Bridgewater. They've kind of hyped up Josh McCown a little bit in the past, not so much this year because, well, he's old. We know what Josh McCown brings at this point. I think it's kind of weird that the Jets are so willing to make Darnold a rookie quarterback when he'd be one of the youngest ever to start week 1 since the merger. I think he needs a year, but look, if he's good to go, let him have the growing pains, let him have the ups and downs, let him not play all that well at times, but I'm okay with it in the end, I guess, Cam.
All right.
I'd still start McCown, though.
BetDSI has the odds for the week 1 starter.
If you think it's going to be Darnold, there you go.
Serious
You can
value.
make some money right there.
Serious value, yeah. So time for you guys to weigh in. Who's going to be the Jets starting quarterback in Week 1? Let us know in comments. You can wager on that bet. Chatsports.com/bet. Free money when you deposit. 120% sign-up bonus, up to $600 free. Code is NFL120.
If I was betting, I think it's McCown, but I like the odds more that I think I would actually put money down on Sam Darnold.
All right, then we're going to wrap up the program here with Breshad Perriman.
Just for you, buddy.
Getting cut? He better be. Peter King thinks so, Tom, and he has just not panned out.
So I'll make note of this with Perriman. The Ravens gave him a roster bonus after 3 days of camp that was around $650K. Look, they have made it clear he's not a long-term factor for them, but it's disappointing. He's been a huge bust.
All right, folks, and that wraps up NFL Daily, presented by BetDSI. For Tom, I am Cam. We'll see you.